we gave the airline industry a fresh shot of competition. Regulations were removed. Free market forces drove prices down. Record numbers of passengers traveled, and profits went up. Our new airline deregulation bill will make these benefits permanent. For the first time in decades, we have actually deregulated a major industry.
Hello and welcome to another day in paradise, and welcome to another edition of the Unapologetic Negropian. In today's video, I want you to picture this. October the 24th, 1978, the White House. Jimmy Carter is in office, and he is there on this day to sign the Airline Deregulation Act into order. The signing of this Deregulation Act was a watershed moment because it would free up the airlines to make decisions themselves. It changed things in the industry drastically. It gave airlines the ability to start making their own decisions, start writing their own schedules. And before 1978, their destinations were given to them by the United States government. Now, all of a sudden, airlines could pick and choose their own destinations. It also had a significant impact on the pricing of those airline tickets, which made it extremely affordable for anyone to buy an airline ticket. Suddenly, overnight, people were able to afford to go places that they could never even dream about going before that act was signed into place. Right now, if you have $1,000 in your pocket, you could pretty much travel to any place on this planet. How did this impact us as a community? Well, before 1978, those people who were of African ancestry, who were traveling to the African continent, were the best of the best. They were the elite people from the diaspora. They were ambassadors representing the African American ethnicity. Now things have changed, of course. Now you will have the less desirables traveling to Africa. All of a sudden, it wasn't just the creme de la creme of African Americans that were traveling to the African continent. All of a sudden, it was anyone and everyone. Those people that were confined to the ghettos at one point, those people were now mobilized and could travel wherever they wanted to. And those people, some of them, even now, are traveling to the African continent in their droves. Some of them are criminals, some of them are just shady people there to exploit the people, and they're not going there because they have a dream of building a united Africa where they put the African people first. No, they're going there for themselves. They're going there to exploit the people just like everybody else does. So what can we do about it? What should we do about it? Is there anything we can do about it? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, I'm going to ask you once again to please like, subscribe, share, click the bell notification, and please consider supporting the channel on our Patreon, link in the description. And we're going to try and find out whether we can at least find a way of warning our African brothers and sisters that, hey, not everybody in the diaspora is your friend. A couple of days ago, I was contacted by a concerned YouTube viewer, and this person was speaking to me about a particular YouTube channel, which I'm not going to mention today, and a particular YouTuber, we're going to call him Brendan, who had traveled to Africa some 6 months ago and was planning to do business on the African continent, more specifically in Kenya. This Brendan made his way to Kenya some 6 months ago to meet up with another YouTuber by the name of All Things African Nana. Now, this Brendan had told this African Nana that he wanted to buy land so he could build a gated community on that land. Now, the problem is that this gentleman does not have the funds to build such properties. In fact, some of you guys will already know this gentleman. And if you know him, if you watch his lives, if you watch the way he begs for money on his lives, you can tell that this person is not in the position to build a house in the United States of America, yet alone a gated community halfway around the world in Kenya. Now, the lady who alerted me panicked. she said, wait a minute, we need to warn this African nana. We know this guy, we know he's a fraud, we know he's a scam artist, we know the types of people he hangs around with. Yes, believe it or not, this guy is friends with Wilkins Morency. And so, this lady knew that this man was not up to any good in Kenya. So she wrote an email to African Nana to warn her about this Brendan. However, African Nana assured the lady, hey, everything is okay, there is no problems here, there is no problems with this Brendan. We're going to do some business together, there is no problems here. At one point, she even argued with the lady, saying that this man was the real deal, and that's it. Coming this close to blocking this lady because of the way she was speaking about Brendan. And thus the meeting went ahead, and she went to meet this Brendan and filmed it for all to see and placed it on her YouTube channel. Now what you're going to see next is a few outtakes from that journey. I'm going to have to play quite a lot of it because you need to see the context of how this person is. You're going to need to listen to the way he speaks. It's interesting, really. I'm going to tell you afterwards what I feel from just listening to the way this man talks. We're also going to take a look at African Nana herself. I don't know her real name, but we're going to speak about her too because it's really interesting the way she deals with it. She deals with it like a typical African continental, with grace, and you can tell she's being diplomatic and she's holding her tongue too. She's doing very well under the present circumstances. I want you guys to see this for yourself, so take a look.
Are you going to move to Kenya, or you are just doing investment?
I might just invest. I might just invest in Kenya.
But you'll be coming a lot here.
I like Kenya.
You love even Kenyan people, right?
The people, now that's another story. That's another story. Let's just say I like Kenya, okay? Just
Again, this is my friend, African American. No, you're not my friend.
Black American.
You are not my friend.
She wants to be my friend.
Are you serious? So what is the reason of you coming to Kenya? Why invest in Kenya?
I mean,
there's this thing called year of return. Other African Americans are going to other countries like Ghana, Tanzania. Why did you choose Kenya?
Because Kenya is just a place where, you know, it's a little more expensive, but I think you get more bang for your buck. I mean, the land's fertile. They have a lot of development here, and basically, if you buy land for a certain price, within like 5 years, it's guaranteed to be like double. It's worth double. So if you're doing it for like say you want to have something that has value later on, Kenya's the place. You can come here, spend about $30,000, and I would say within 10 or 15 years you'll be a millionaire just off of the land that you bought for 30 or 40. So that's pretty much it. It's not really about the people, you know, because you know.
It's about investing.
It's about investing, and then you might find some good friends along the way, like
All things.
Sharon
Stone. I told
Sharon.
you. Sharon Stone.
Nana.
Yes.
They call her Mama. They call her Nana. She's spoiled. Don't believe her. If she tells you she's not spoiled, don't believe her. She has a lot of expectations. Nana.
What is your first experience when you came to Kenya?
When I first came to Kenya, that was years ago.
So what was your experience?
Everything takes long.
Or how can you compare?
Everything takes a long time. There's no hurry in Africa. You will tell them to do something for you, it will take 3 days. But it's okay because we love them still.
But I did not take 3 days.
You didn't take 3 days. You took half a day. No,
not half a day. I was efficient.
She's actually quick. She's quick. She's efficient.
Yes.
She was supposed to be at our place at 8, but she got there at 7:30. She's early. And she expected me to give her a praise. Like, oh, good job. But I told her, no.
Are you serious? You're spoiling.
Get to work. Get to work. No, I'm just kidding.
Did you experience any racism?
Yes.
Because of your language?
She discriminates against me.
How?
Because she talks in Swahili.
But we do translate.
But I understand. I understand what they're saying. They
Remember
think I don't know.
You know Swahili.
I know what you're saying.
Then why are you telling me that I'm doing racism? I'm discriminating.
I did not say you were doing racism. Black people cannot be racist. I said, no, I just pretend like I'm sleeping so I can listen to them. But even their Swahili is bad, so they say a lot of words in English.
First of all, I want you to take a look at his appearance. He doesn't dress, he doesn't act, he doesn't look like the kind of guy who is a businessman there to seriously look and consider property, does he? This guy looks like he's just come out of the hood, and let's be honest with ourselves, he probably has. And this is the kind of problems that which a lot of African continentals are having right now. The African American ethnicity has a brand to it. We know it around the world as being one of the greatest ethnicities on this planet. Let's not even hold back on that. They probably are. However, they are not sending over their best and brightest at this moment. They are not the ones who are coming over to the African continent. And a lot of African continentals don't know this. So they are not meeting up with the best, and they are getting a skewed look on who African Americans actually are. So they're giving their opinions on African Americans based on the worst of them. Secondly, you can just listen to the way he speaks to her in a condescending tone. It's horrible, actually. It's creepy. The way that this man has come all the way over to Africa and speaks to these Africans in this way. And it's not by accident. He's doing it because of the way he feels for Africans. This man hates Africans. He hates African continentals. To my African brothers and sisters there on the continent, you guys can see this, can't you? You must be able to read this. This is noticeable when she calls him, this is very noticeable. She calls him an African American and he quickly corrects her.
Again, this is my friend African American. No, you're not my friend.
Black American.
Hey, he has every right to call himself whatever he wants to call himself. He can call himself an overweight slob for all we care. It doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that he corrected her in the first place. There are little signs to tell you that this man doesn't have positive feelings about African continentals.
Of your language.
She discriminates against me.
How?
Because she talks in Swahili.
But we do translate.
But I understand. I understand what they're saying. They
Remember,
think
you
I don't
told
know.
me you know Swahili.
I know what you're saying.
Then why are you telling me that I'm doing racism?
that
I'm discriminating.
I did not say.
How ignorant can you possibly get? She is being racist because she is talking in Swahili, her native tongue in her native country. Do you know what? I don't even know what to say. That is vile. It's vile the way he's acting. And this is why a lot of Africans are having problems with African Americans, because they believe that African Americans are like this. They believe that this is the typical African American. This is typical of them. And it's not. It's not typical of them. Guys, you've got to not look at the scumbags that are going over there at this present moment and say to yourself that these are the representatives of the African American community, because they are not. Backacres of the Gambia, Brendan and the rest of them, these guys are not the creme de la creme. They're not even the normal African Americans. Normal African Americans wouldn't act like this. Another thing is that it is totally clear from this video, from what he is saying, that he has no idea of what he is talking about.
Why did you choose Kenya?
Because Kenya is just a place where, you know, it's a little more expensive, but you get more bang for your buck. I mean, they have a lot of development here, and basically, if you buy land for a certain price, within like 5 years, guaranteed to be like double. It's worth double. So you can come here and spend about $30,000 and I would say within 10 or 15 years you'll be a millionaire.
In fact, if you listen to the way he speaks, he doesn't even sound like he's graduated from high school. He sounds like a young teenager, just in his tone of voice, what he is saying, the words that are coming out. I know this must be terrifying for the majority of you guys who are African Americans to watch this video, because as African Americans yourselves, you know that this is absolutely not representative of your ethnicity. I know that. We all know this, but there are a lot of people in Africa who don't know this. and they are sending a bad message to the African people. This man is essentially telling her, I don't like you. I don't like you, but I want your resources. However, this woman is a professional. Well, she's acting like one anyway. She wants to build her YouTube brand. So she is trying to get people from the diaspora to come over to Kenya and try and sell these people land, property. She's trying to be that third person. She speaks good English. She speaks perfect Swahili. So she is in a good situation to do that, clearly. And she has the right contacts on the ground too. It must be horrible to see this man, who sounds like he's barely literate, by the way, speaking to African continentals and saying that he is a representative of a group of people. So that means a group of African Americans have come together, have used him as a representative. So if he's good enough for a group of African Americans to send as their man over to Africa, this lady is thinking, wow, this was the best. This is the best that you could do. So anyway, this African Nana continues. She brings him round from place to place to place, searching for land, shopping for land with this gentleman. She takes him everywhere. She pays for his food. She pays for the driver. She pays for the fuel, any snacks that this guy clearly ate. She takes the burden of all the costs for all these journeys for this gentleman. And do you know what this gentleman gave back in return? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Zilch. He didn't even pay for a meal for her. That is, my God. You could tell he probably paid for a meal for himself, but he didn't pay for a meal for this lady who did all this work, all the research to find these properties, and then graciously took him around all these properties herself. Wow. What a total piece of. So after this disastrous day, this African Nana made another YouTube video and she gave her opinions on this gentleman. Take a listen to this.
You're my subscribers, you're like my virtual friends, and you will really watch out for me. I'm not saying that all the Black Americans, let me just call them Black Americans, that they are bad. I'm talking with the ones that have dealt with experience. This guy, I took him to his senior. It's like he's been using my email. I don't want you guys to be scammed or conned. I told you guys my channel, I'm building my brand. I don't want people to relate me to scamming people, because me, I'm the kind of person that I really love sharing information. If you are a Black American, if you really want to reach me out, I'll put my Gmail and everything there. I'll show you the right documentation and the right things. Because my time, showing him from morning to evening, and I showed him several farms that you're supposed to be. I'm so mad by them because people are using my name out there. They even created a WhatsApp group. I'm not going to mention the name, but I know the person. So your WhatsApp group I create because he was showing people the video that I'm the one showing the land, and atuma huko akitumiwa pesa. So people will think that I'm the one who's eating that money. Told him, I failed the car, you need to pay this guy, and you even saw how he went. He told me, at least you can pay using your money. You are very rich because you are a YouTuber. They are not into business. They want to come here and use Kenyan women. Kama wanawake wa Kenya, they are just after money. So they know the only thing they want to do is to use you. No, tumechanuka siku hizi. We build our own money.
And this is exactly what I mean. You heard her for yourself. She knows that this man is not representative of all African Americans. And that is a really good thing. Thing is that this lady may not have traveled to the United States, and she may not have had a lot of exposure to a lot of Black Americans. But one thing she knows, she has the knowledge to know that most African Americans, the vast majority of African Americans, while they may not be a Martin Luther King or a Malcolm X, she knows that majority of African Americans are well-spoken, educated people who go beyond and above everything else in order to represent themselves in a good way, in a good manner. So she knows straight away this, and you could hear this in the video for yourself. Now, as you probably heard for yourself, yes, it gets worse. You see, when this guy got back to the United States, he started selling that land that he was shown by this lady to his subscribers as if it was his own land. This is the reason why you can sometimes see this pig swanning off with the landowner and having a little private conversation with him. He tried to kick her out of the equation. This guy is not a good businessman. He is not trustworthy. He has no integrity whatsoever. Brendan is now calling for African Americans to join some form of African investment group as well. If you've been watching my videos over the last week, you would know that you would need to be very careful. Wilkins Morency and this gentleman Brendan are very tight friends. These guys know each other. And so, guys, I've got to tell you this, if you are planning to do anything financial with this Brendan, I would urge you to reconsider any type of business activities with this man. It is clear that this man doesn't have any backup himself. He doesn't have any finance. He doesn't have any experience in purchasing land in Africa or anywhere else. This man probably sits in his room, and when he's not on YouTube, he's probably eating. So I would say that, guys, give him a miss. There are plenty of other opportunities out there, and you don't need to go through a YouTuber who cannot even be bothered to pay a good, upstanding Kenyan citizen, a woman who paid for everything, who couldn't even bother to buy a woman a thank you gift just to say thank you for taking him to these places. I'm sure that would have been enough for her. I wouldn't have done that. I would have given her some money. That's just me. I think the majority of you would have given her money. That's the type of slob that this guy is. Gluttony, greed. Guys, if you're a Christian, you should not be doing business with this man. If you do business with this man, I can almost guarantee it that you are going to regret it. So be careful of the OAP. That is what he's calling this scheme that he's setting up, the OAP. Don't go near it. Give it a wide berth. Don't touch it with a barge pole. There are plenty of other investment groups that you can get yourself involved in. Join the GAIA. I mean, those guys are good. Listen, I'm just not the type of person who trusts a man who has more rolls on the back of his head than a bakery. I want to trust somebody who knows not just how to take care of himself, but someone who knows about the business in which he's bringing me into, right? If I'm speaking to someone who is a property developer, then I want to speak to a property developer. I don't want to speak to an opportunist YouTuber. So guys, that's all I have time for today. I'd like to thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And guys, I'd like to give an extra special thank you to the new Patreons as well. I'm very happy about that. Hello and welcome to the family. So until the next time, please think twice, especially when you're thinking about this guy. Think twice. Ta-ra a bit.